Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, welcome to Active Rain University. My name is Bob Stewart. We're going to talk about some blogging blueprints for local events and local businesses. We're here to learn a little bit about, how do we write in the most efficient manner for our local events or the local businesses that we might be wanting to highlight in our blog. And I think there's two main reasons, and one would be to just get web traffic, okay? These types of posts, and I'm going to show you here in a second, these types of posts can generate an amazing amount of traffic, but the real reason that we're getting traffic like this, because these aren't people that are necessarily interested in buying or selling real estate with us today, right? I think the main reason we write these types of posts is for the exposure that they can get us, okay? So don't fall asleep on me again. I don't think these templates are really groundbreaking in any way other than it gives you a real succinct way to write about local businesses or local events. So again, here's kind of the full look at this post. This is the template that you will get. Again, we do have the post on the Active Rain University blog, so if you want to go back and just copy the post out of there to be able to get the formatting exactly like I have it in the university post, you'll be able to do that as well. And here's what it looks like, local events. And as I mentioned up front, my favorite local event is the Bite of Seattle. This gets back to what I talked about in terms of the local business and how I'm not just going to name the local business, I'm going to say something about it, right? We want to give people something beyond what they'll find on the website, because especially with a big event like the Bite of Seattle, I'm probably not going to rank on the first page when somebody just searches Bite of Seattle. Okay, and in fact, the first website that comes up is going to be the Bite of Seattle website, right? So I need to give them something in my blog that they're not going to find on the website. And you'll see in here that I did Bite of Seattle 2013 Best Food Vendors. Okay? So the Bite of Seattle's website's not going to say, because they have 200 food vendors. They're not going to go in there and tell you, hey, here's the best ones. Right? So my post needs to have something that will kind of separate it from all of the other content, especially that main website for the Bite of Seattle that might be out there. Now here's the deal. That's not always the case. Okay, because if you have a small local event going on, a lot of us, especially when we're in smaller areas, there's not, massive media coverage or these sorts of things, you're going to be able to get your posts to rank on the first page just for the name of the event. But, in Seattle where, we've got bloggers left and right and we've got, the news coverage and we've got all these things, I need to do something to kind of give them something beyond what they'll find on the website. So we're gonna go with the title. And in my title here for my demo, I didn't use Bite of Seattle Best Food Vendors, but in this case, that should be what I'm going with. The post has actually been updated, I believe, to reflect that. But again, it's title. Restate the title. I like to use the year in mind because this would be a strategy that I'm going to come back in 2014 and I'm going to revisit. What events did I write about last year? I should probably write about those events again. And what we see is that as people go online, a lot of times they're using that year indicator. Right? So I'm going to have Bite of Seattle 2013. And then again, if I wanted to really kind of focus it on some particular aspect of the event, something they're not going to find on the website, maybe that's insider tips. Why don't you guys in the question area right now, even if you're not familiar with the Bite of Seattle, it's just a big festival where you got a bunch of people that, a bunch of vendors that come in there and they got music and all these things. Give me some ideas of some things that people might be interested in or be searching for as it related to the Bite of Seattle. I'll give you two, okay? Best food vendors. Like, what's the best food at the Bite of Seattle? So Bite of Seattle 2013, what's the best food? Another one would be, where the heck do I park? If you've ever been to Seattle and down around the Seattle Center, parking is an issue. So I might write, Bite of Seattle 2013, best places to park. Okay? You guys give me some examples of some things that you might think somebody would be out there searching for. Are there cooking displays? Is there, right, so here's a great one. Bite of Seattle 2013, things to do for the kids. Are there kids activities? Fun things for the kids, right? That's a great, Bite of Seattle 2013, where do I go to the bathroom? There's all these things, right, that we can get in there, the newest food trends, right? There's these different ways that we can kind of make our posts stand out when we're talking about an event that's on a big scale that a lot of people are going to be writing about. Okay, you guys, those are some good ideas in there, right? Entertainment, handicap facilities, organic vendors, right? These are all things that are very particular to the Bite of Seattle. Great idea. Promo codes, cooking demonstrations. I mean, yeah, you guys are just best food trucks. There's just all this information that we could kind of use to augment the title of our post. Again, we're going to hit them with the basic info, right? One thing about this basic info section, if you're writing about an event that has tickets, make sure it's really easy for them to figure out how to get the tickets. Okay, so in my case, it's a free admission, but had it not been free, I'm going to have a link on there heading back to, generally the main website for the event and how they would go about getting tickets. But again, the when, the hours, the where, the who to contact, okay, just the basic information. Again, we're going to get into a brief synopsis and then our experience. So the first paragraph, just, hey, this is the same thing you'd find on the website, right? It's giving you the breakdown, what this thing's about. Second paragraph, I'm going to give them a little bit of my experience. And again, I swear it was only one time that I had to get rolled out of the center house. But I'm going to let them know, here's the fun stuff. Here's what you're after. Here's where you go. I think this next part, when you're talking about an event, especially if it's an event that you've been to, you always learn something at these sort of events. And this insider tips section for a local event, I believe could be the reason that you have something in your post that's worthy of being shared. So, like I said, I go to the Bite of Seattle almost every year. I've been 5 years, I think, in the last 10. I love the Bite. But there's a few things I've learned over the years, okay? One of them is bring your own water, right? Nobody wants to pay $4 for a bottle of water, so I'm going to share with them some things. Bring cash, right? You're probably going to have to pay to park. I'm going to give them those things that you always think after you left the event, man, next year when I go to the event, this is what I'm going to do, right? Like, it's okay to bring a lawn chair. It's whatever it is about that event, bring your blanket because you can spread it out on the grass and take a break because you're going to be doing a lot of walking. These different events, they've always got something that, gosh, when you went there, the third or fourth time you've gone there, you're not quite the same guy that you were the first time you walked in all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? So those insider tips, this becomes a reason now that we could go out and share this thing on Facebook. Hey, you're going to the Bite of Seattle this weekend. Here's 4 insider tips. You don't want to miss these, right? This will make your experience much better. Again, here's going to be that post in its entirety. So you come back here to the Active Rain University blog. Here's that post in its entirety. Here's an image that I have, and I actually got this image, and somebody's going to ask, well, what if I don't have an image for a particular event? What I did to get this image is I actually grabbed the image from the Creative Commons area of Flickr. This is a Creative Commons image that somebody's uploaded to Flickr, and they said, it's okay that you share this as long as you attribute it to me. And so I just went to Creative Commons images on Google. I found Flickr's Creative Commons images, this attribution license. So I went in here and I said, look, I want to see all the photos where somebody said, it's okay if you use the photo, you just have to link it and attribute it to me. And then I did Bite of Seattle. And you'll see the particular picture that I used is somewhere down here. Oh, there it is right here. So that's the picture that I ended up using, and then I just linked it back to this page. So here at the bottom, I've got image courtesy of Victoria and Resita to link back to this image on Flickr. But here's the whole look of that post, right? So I've got general info, couple paragraphs about my experience and just what the festival's all about. I've got my insider tips down here at the bottom. Okay. I've got a link back to the main website for the bite, in this case where I'm giving you a chance to check out all of the different vendors and food that will be available. So provide a reason to share it. This is the insider tips. This is the thing that makes that post worthy of being shared, not just by you, but potentially by somebody else. Because if you've got a bunch of friends on your Facebook page that end up going to the Bite of Seattle every year, and you write a good post that actually gives some really good reasons or good things that people should think about, like bringing their own water, bringing cash, right? Other people might potentially share that as well. Get the basics out fast. Again, if you've been doing these types of posts for a while, you've gotten the phone calls where somebody's like, well, what are the hours? What time is this place open? How do I get a hold of the event organizer, right? Get those basics out there, the top of the post, so they're real clear. And then you may also use these as an opportunity. When Chris and I were putting this together the other day, he was saying, you know, I don't know that with a local event like this that you're going to get a chance to like have an audience with the organizer like you would with like a proprietor of a local business. But in a smaller event, you may very well have that opportunity. And I think one of the good ways to take advantage of that, or the good ways to kind of get a chance to speak with somebody, is to say, hey, I'm writing a blog post about your local event. Can you give me a couple of tips? You know, if somebody's never been to this event before, what's something that they need to know, right? So you may also use these local event posts as an opportunity. Maybe they're looking for volunteers, and that's something that you could write about in your post. But there's always an opportunity in there to kind of take that blog post and use it to make a connection with either a local business owner, a local event planner, something of that nature. All right, so I said at the end, we're going to talk about a couple of things. So hopefully you guys are all still awake. Wake up. Okay, so you're awake, I hope. Don't forget, you sell real estate. All right, and this particular class in the Blogging Blueprint series, the past ones that we did how to do a market report, how to do a local community blog, how to blog about your listing. Those are all very kind of directly related to your real estate business, okay? I realize that writing about local events and local businesses is not, but again, it gives us an opportunity to potentially make a connection, okay? It gives us a lot of potentially a lot of traffic, gives us good exposure, right? We saw Amy earlier who'd gotten, what, 14,000 30-second commercials, okay? But don't forget, at the end of the day, you sell real estate. So what are some of the things that we can do to make sure that if somebody lands on our post, they know we sell real estate? And I think probably the number one thing, and this holds true across any type of a blog post that you've written, is that right-hand column in your blog, okay? And you'll notice in mine, I've got a little widget from my IDX site that I have placed right there. So as they're reading this blog, right, what are the chances that somebody's even thinking, oh, I want to find a house? It's pretty stinking low, right? Pretty stinking low. But when you have 14,000 people that got exposed to your content, like Amy did, right, is there a chance that one or two of those people might be thinking, you know what, I do want to start looking at some houses? Yeah, it's pretty low chance, but there's a chance. Okay, so we want to make sure that that right sidebar has something in it. It could just be links, okay? Let me bring this back out here and look at. So I've got my search widget in here where they can search for a home on Capitol Hill or Green Lake or wherever, right? I've also got some links that I included down here, like homes for sale in Seattle, homes for sale on Capitol Hill, homes for sale in Ballard, condos for sale in Seattle. So you can add or remove links to the sidebar of your blog by coming into this little area right here, okay? I embedded that widget, and again, that widget is something that I got from my website provider. I embedded that by coming up here and going to the blog settings area, right? And this is just a piece of code that my website provider gave me that included that widget. So now, once I post that in there, I come back to my blog, my widget's going to show up here on the right, okay? The next little piece that you really want to make sure that you are thinking about is this signature line. Okay, so I've got this, my basic contact information, my phone number. Apparently when Carrie and I got married, I took Carrie's last name. I got a little link in here if somebody's looking to buy or sell a home in Seattle. Okay, and then on my particular blog, I've got some options for them to be able to connect with me out there on other areas of social media, right? So you really want to think about this sidebar. What do you have in this area, right? Because Amy had 14,000 people that landed here and were looking at this page. And you want to think about this signature line, okay? These will be kind of the small little hooks that we can have out in the water for all of that traffic that we can potentially generate that relate to our real estate business. And again, you know, the likelihood is pretty stinking small that somebody's going to find our blog about a local event and then become a lead on our website, but it's not zero. So we want to make sure that we have, you know, these kind of more passive calls to action, because I'm not going to just throw a big link or a big button or a big image in the middle of this post that says, hey, find a house, right? That would defeat the kind of purpose of the blog, which would be to educate them about the buy to Seattle. But I do want to make sure that I've got these other kind of calls to action around the content. Okay. So ready, set, right. For the 50 or so of you guys that have joined us here that are not currently Rainmakers, if you would like to try out a Rainmaker account for $1, I think it's actually $2. It's the first 2 months for $1 a month. You can go to arpromo.com/2 months. That'll come out in the email that we send out afterwards with the correct links to the templates and also the links back to these posts that I said that I've showed you guys, the kind of the full post where you can just copy and utilize the formatting that I've used.